welcome to episode number 18 of the Elisa Show. I'm your host, Elisa Jankowski, a business administration student, yoga teacher, marathon runner, and currently finishing my plant-based nutritionist degree. I'm here to help you to achieve a healthier, happier, and more sustainable life. I'm also the creator of the Elisa Show Instagram account, where I post delicious and nutritious plant-based recipes. If you haven't checked it out, please do so. That's at Elisa Show over on Instagram. I hope you had a wonderful week of good vibes, and I'm so grateful that you're tuning in with me today. So let's get started. Today's guest is Cody Reed, and I actually know him because of last year's UTCT, the Notschaele Cape Town 100-kilometer race, because he won the race, and I was supposed to run it this year because of him, because of all the other runners, because I was actually super inspired by everyone who participated, and it looked super, super nice, and I'm really sad that I can't race this year, but it was so nice to talk with Cody all about the race, about his training, about him in general, and it was just a super nice conversation, and I hope you will enjoy it. I'm here today with Cody Reed, and I'm super thankful that you're on the show today. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me.
How are you today?
I'm doing all right. After a nice day in Mammoth.
Yeah, nice. So that was my next question. Where are you at the moment?
So this summer I moved to Mammoth Lakes in California. It's in the Sierras. It's got really big mountains and a lot of trails and a lot of snow in the winter.
Oh wow, nice. But do you also run when it's snowy outside and everything? Yes, or?
Yeah, I'll do some running in the winter. I think mostly I'll get into skiing. I tried that for the first time last winter and liked it. But yeah, there's much better snow here than in Flagstaff.
Yeah, I get that. So just a super random question, but who is Cody Reed? I mean, some people might heard of your name, but who are you? What do you do? And why should people know you?
So I am a professional trail runner for a couple sponsors, like Under Armour and Spring Energy, and Chorus watches. I also coach other ultra trail athletes all around the world. Like I said, I just moved to Mammoth Lakes. I am, and that's who I am and what I'm doing right now. I'm trying to work on some other stuff, basically, like other jobs. Yeah, that's me.
That's me. Nice. And
This past year, actually, with so many races being canceled and travel not really being able to happen as much, I haven't been running as much or training as much. And
what does it mean? Like how much do you run in a week? Like what kind of mileage?
I mean, in the last few weeks, it's been very little because there's a fire here in Mammoth, just over the mountain, and so when the wind is bad, the wind will blow smoke into town, and you can't really go outside, let alone run. But that along with like everything else that's happening has really caused me to reevaluate a lot of things and to think about like what the future looks like for me.
Yeah, I heard a podcast earlier and they were saying that you didn't finish your degree, but did you finish your degree in the end?
No, I never did. I was in college for a few years studying engineering, and the last couple of years things weren't going too well for me.
Yeah.
I started to really not like what I was doing, uh, or the people around me as well. And so I I left school and I got a couple retail jobs around Flagstaff while I continued running. Um, and that went on for a while, maybe like a year or less than a year, before I tried my first ultra and like really found that as something to do.
Something to do. I think didn't you win your first ultra?
Yeah, yeah, I won the first one, and it was 100K in the Bay Area. Um, and then it was like a couple months later, I did another one, which was the 50K national championships here also in the Bay Area,
Wow.
and I won that, um, and along with a couple other races that first year.
That's so crazy. I mean, did you expect that, or was it just like, okay, just give it a try and see how it goes?
That's how the first one went, and everything was going great for like the first half of the race. Um, it's like 30 miles. It's close enough to long runs that I've done in the past for training, before that race. But once you get past that, once I got past that point, it was like a whole new level of discomfort. um,
Well, you started with 100K. I mean, other people say, "Oh, I need a 50K or 50 mile or
I
something."
know, I know. My friends told me like, oh, just do this race, like Miwok 100K. Just do that. It's just 100K. Um,
Just
it's perfect timing for you. And I'm like, okay, sure. And then I get to 50K, and I'm like, I should be done right now. And then I get to 50 miles, and I'm like, I should really be done right by now.
But were you in the lead all the time?
No, I was in the lead for. I went out with with another runner. It was him and I, for a couple miles, and then I pulled ahead, and I was running by myself for most of the race. And then I forget where exactly, but somewhere in the last 10 miles, he actually passed me, and that was that like very low point during the race in like the last 15 10 miles and 100K. Are always tough physically and mentally, but he passed me, and uh, I thought, that's it. Like I'm not going to be able to do this. But then a few miles later, I saw the guy again and passed him. I tried like sprinting past him. It felt like I was going so fast, but it was probably like 7 8 minute pace per mile. Um, I passed him, and yeah, was able to finish. It was like in the last 5 miles, I think.
Well, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, but coming back to the beginning of this whole story, when did you discover running and what was your favorite distance when you were younger? I mean, I don't think that you wanted to run 100 kilometers when you were a young boy, or
No, no, I had known about ultra running since high school, and uh, I had always thought that it was more like a hiking race, far from what I would consider running. But I learned otherwise eventually, uh, thankfully. But I've always run. Growing up, I did lots of team sports. Um, in high school or middle school is when I started actually just running competitively. Um, but yeah, like I did team sports. I grew up mountain biking a lot. Um, just around where I lived.
And where did you
High
live when you were
school.
younger?
What's that?
Where did you live when you were younger?
I grew up in the Bay Area in
Oh, yeah.
California,
Yeah.
in this little town called Danville, um, which was a great place to grow up. And like I had access to Notschaele, which is covered in mountain bike and running trails. So that was really fun.
Oh, that's cool.
Um, and then in high school, I did cross country and lacrosse, and one year I even raced mountain bikes, like cross country, and yeah, like running's always been something that I've done just to like stay fit, and also uh, for the mental benefit that I get from it. It just feels really good. Um, something something that I do. It's, it's like people ask me what makes you motivated to run so much, and it's not really a question about motivation. It's more like um, it's just it's just part of who I am, like part of my daily routine. It's something I do, like getting out of bed. You know,
So you don't do rest days at all?
I don't know. I take some rest days. Like I try to train smart. Um, yeah, usually before this past year, I would do like maybe a rest day a month or even less, but
What is less
without
than one day?
less than one day a month. I don't know. It would probably come out to like every 2 months, maybe.
Oh, okay, okay.
But
That's good.
without having races to train for this year, the motivation has been down a little bit, and I've been taking the day off like once a week so far, running less mileage than like my peak, which has still netted me a lot of miles this year, I think. But it's been very consistent, and I feel like I was in a good spot to, just if something did come up, I could increase the mileage real quick to get ready for a race, basically.
Yeah, but is there something in particular that you like about running? I mean, some people say they like to go outside, some people like to not be on their phone or something, but do you have something
Yeah,
in particular?
yeah. It's really just feels cool to be able to like go these places. I I was thinking a long time ago, like there at any given point in time, there's like a radius of 20 miles around me that I could easily get to just on my feet. But like trail running specifically, I was just talking to somebody about this. It feels like you are actually like going somewhere. You're out in the forests or in the mountains or in the desert, um, and you could be running like up the like out of the canyon, the Grand Canyon, um, or on these like really technical tough trails. But if you were uh, just running on the road, it would feel much slower. And so, like running fast on trails, it just feels fun and cool because it feels like you're going so fast, basically.
Yeah. That sounds nice. So we already talked about your first ultra, but where did you discover this whole ultra scene? I mean, you said that you knew that there were races when you were younger, but was there anything that you have in mind, like a situation or someone who talked to you and told you about this?
Yeah, so I had known about it before college, and in college, um, I was focusing on running cross country and track for the university, and then afterwards, I wanted to continue running. Obviously, like I something that I needed to do, and I thought it'd just be on my own. But a friend of mine, or at the time I didn't know him, but a friend of a friend came to Flagstaff from Montana, Jim Walmsley, and he introduced me and Tim Frericks. He basically told us what was up and said like that we should do this. Um, and so that's what got me to sign up for a race, basically.
Nice. And I mean, now you're good friends, but I will come back to that the group that you have later on. I wanted to ask you what your favorite race was so far.
Um, Favorite race so far, like the whole like experience, the location, the trails, the race, the competition, uh, the experience of the race would definitely have to be Ultra Trail Cape Town for sure. Which unfortunately it's been like almost a year now, but that was my last race.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. So Ultra Trail Cape Town in South Africa, like just being there and like discovering Cape Town, like I fell in love. I can't wait to go back. And even before the race, because I could be a little biased because I won, but even before the race, like I was blown away just by everything.
yeah. I mean, I watched the race a little bit, and it was just super amazing to see like all of you running. And I mean, Beth Pascal's performance was super, super amazing. I mean, I was like, oh my God, what's
She
going on with
crushed
the
it.
woman? Yeah. Okay. Were you supposed to run the UTCT this year again?
I was thinking about it. I would have gone. I was thinking like if there was if I hadn't uh, if it fit in the schedule basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was trying to make an effort to make it fit.
Yeah. Yeah. I get that. So nice. I can't wait to run it at some point. Let's see.
Yeah, you were gonna run it this year, right?
Yeah, I was supposed to, but well, maybe next year.
Yeah, maybe next year.
I might come back to you and ask you some things like for training and for the yeah, just the race in general. Because I don't know anyone who did the 100K distance. I just know people who did the, what is it, 65? Is it what?
Right.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's so cool. um you're sponsored by Under Armour, is that right?
Correct.
How did that come together?
So the first year I was running and I was winning those races
Those
in
races.
California. What's that?
It's so funny how you say that. I was winning those races.
um, it put me on a couple brands' radar, and so a couple brands reached out to me, and Under Armour was one of them. But the thing about Under Armour is they have a group, or they basically sponsor a group of like road and track runners in Flagstaff already. Like the Team Run Flagstaff group, it's sponsored by Under Armour, and so um, they help pay like some of the coaches and some of the better runners on the team, like the elite guys on the team. They'll get Under Armour gear and help with like travel money as well. So Under Armour is like big in Flagstaff, and just through knowing a lot of the Flagstaff runners, I knew a couple people on the Team Run Flagstaff, and they put me in touch with Under Armour, and they offered me a good deal, so I took it. And plus, like the I hate buying clothes, and so it's super awesome to have a sponsor like Under Armour, where they have tons of clothes, all different types, casual to athletic, um, and the shoes have been great. Like I really like the shoes. Uh, and I've been with them now. This is like my fourth year, I think, and it's been great so far.
Nice. I'm actually surprised that you're not sponsored by Hoka or Salomon, because I have the feeling all of the trail runners are with Hoka or
I
Salomon.
know. Well,
You're
I'm
unique.
one of like three or four people, the trail runners on the Under Armour team, and yeah, there's not that many of us, but that's a good thing to me. I think like they really take care of us. They take our feedback and um, they can just focus on us more instead of being on a team like Solomon or Hoka where there's a lot of different people and you're really like competing against your own teammates, which
Yeah.
I didn't want to feel that way.
Oh, that's
Even
interesting.
though the rest of the Coconino Cowboys, they're all Hoka.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, wow, something is
You
not
know,
wrong, but like I said, you're really
like the Blue
unique.
Man Group. They're all running around in the Hoka Blues.
I really like the video where one of the guys had like this like some cutouts in his shirt, like all the circles. I can't really
Oh
describe
yeah,
it, but
yeah,
it's so funny.
yeah. That's it's for the hot summer races out
Yeah, you
here.
just cut holes in your shirt. It's so normal.
Yes, it is. It's normal for ultra runners, right?
All right. Okay, so one question, I'm actually quite curious, but are you scared sometimes when you're in the mountains and you know that you're super far away from home and uh, something happens and you think, "Oh, I don't really know where I could go now. I don't know where I could get some help or something like this?"
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that. But oh, can you see me?
Yeah.
Oh, what did I do? Um, what? Okay. Well, I lost your video, but glad you can still hear me. Anyway, um, so I do get nervous sometimes or a little scared in the mountains. Like when I'm really far out there, and maybe like I don't have that much food, or like you see a storm rolling in, but that is what makes it more fun for me. Like just the uncertainty of what can happen and just having to deal with it on the fly. Um, it's like a feels like a test almost. Like see if I can do it.
Yeah. That's super interesting. I mean, other people would say, "Okay, I just stay home when I see that there is a storm coming or something," and you go out there and run mountains.
Yeah, I mean it's it's fun. Like just being out in whatever conditions. Um, you know, I've never been. There might have been one time, but I've never been in a really like dangerous situation. I think I've never felt out of my wheelhouse. Um, though others might disagree, but yeah, it just adds some fun to it, basically.
What happened in
That's
this one?
how I see it.
What happened in this one situation?
Oh, we were
I have
me.
to ask, sorry.
Yeah, yeah. So Tim and I were in um, the Grand Canyon running on a new trail, and we were coming out of the canyon after. So uh, if you don't run on the main like corridor trails like South Kaidab, North Kaibab or Bright Angel, like the general rule of thumb for me is to take a water filter because there's no like drinking fountains basically anywhere else except on those trails. And we brought a filter, but it was old or the filter was dirty, and so it wasn't pumping very much water. And so we got what we could from this filter out of the river before we started coming up out of the canyon, and the trail was not runnable. Basically, it was extremely rocky, and technical, and steep, and it was also pretty hot. So we ran out of water like before halfway, probably well before halfway, which was not ideal because we still had like a couple hours to get out of the canyon. That got pretty rough towards the end when we were a few miles from the top. It was not fun.
I can imagine that. I mean, some people they don't even want to walk on the normal path there because they're so scared of the heat and everything. And
I
you
know.
do
It
crazy
was
things.
like it was probably in this springtime or late winter, or yeah, probably in the spring, and it gets pretty hot there pretty quickly. Yeah, just like spending that much time on a new trail with no water in the heat, like we didn't really know like where we were, how much further we had. We had a guess based on like what the map says, but the the trails are like so technical. The maps usually greatly underestimate the distance.
Yeah. Wow. But did you meet a bear or something on your adventures so far, or any other weird animals? I mean, I heard a
Yeah,
bear story from someone and I was super surprised. So I'm wondering if you met someone on the way.
yeah. So there, I've seen bears probably like one sighting a year or every other year in Flagstaff. Um, like there's a ton of bears here in Mammoth, um, and like the first week I was here, I saw two of them, like two separate ones, um, and which like kind of made me a little nervous at first. But
They wanted to welcome you.
yeah, I was like, oh boy, here we go. Like in the Sierras, we got some bears everywhere. Gotta look out for those. But yeah, for the most part, especially in Flagstaff, like the bears wouldn't bother you. There were little black bears, pretty scared of humans. Now, this summer, I went to the Grand Tetons in Wyoming, which are some amazing mountains. And there, like, I was talking to a friend of mine, and he was saying, like, you need to run with bear spray, and he's telling me the story of him mountain biking, like in a fairly popular area, like in the ski resort, which is open in the summer for mountain biking, and a large bear, not a little black bear, but like a brown bear, I guess it was charging at him while he was on his bike. Like, bear was like coming down the mountain at him, like about to cut him off, and he like stopped, and the bear stopped, and they looked at each other, and then he just like flipped his bike around and took off, like going the other way. So I was pretty nervous running out there. I had my bear spray in my pack, like instead of a water bottle, and a water bottle on the other side. Um, I was like practicing my quick draws with the bear spray, like practicing pulling it out and like taking off the safety.
But what does it do? I mean,
It's just like really strong pepper spray,
okay, okay.
or yeah, I think it's this really strong pepper spray, and so you spray it at them, and they are supposed to run away. Luckily, I didn't have to find out.
Well, good that you're a runner, so you can run away.
There is no running from bears. I don't know if you've ever seen, but they're extremely fast. And they are just as fast running up trees as they are on flat ground. It's unbelievable. So you can't even climb away from them.
Oh God. Okay.
But even worse than the bears, I think, out there was the moose.
Oh,
Like
really?
they are massive, uh, and there was a lot of them as well. I saw,
I saw some in Sweden, but I didn't know that you have them as well.
yeah, yeah. There's some moose around Colorado and up north. There in Wyoming, but there was a lot of them. Like we came into town and there's a line of cars like trying to get into town, but they were all stopped because the moose were like crossing the road.
All right.
Yeah,
Okay, so I mean, you said that you're running quite a lot. I mean, not really at the moment, but I'm actually wondering, how do you recover when you run so much and when you race so much? I mean, 100 kilometers is a bit more than just 5 kilometers or something like that.
yeah. Well, I mean, racing distances and training distances are like so different. So, after a race, I'll definitely take some time off. Like at least a week before I start doing anything like biking or starting to run again. Um, aha, there you are. So after races, I'll take time off. But during training, like I guess one of the main things that determines how much I run in training is recovery. Uh, so when I'm at my peak training, doing like 80 to 100 miles per week, um, I will uh, make sure my diet is can sustain me. Make sure I'm getting enough sleep. Make sure I'm taking care of myself, like foam rolling, using like massage sticks, like getting deep tissue massages if I need to. Yeah, and then also like sometimes you feel like you need rest, but you also need to like keep pushing, and so it's a balance of 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 like what you might want to do, like not run or just lounge around and rest and recover so you feel better, or like go out and get your miles in regardless.
What do you think about stretching? Do you stretch at all or not really?
Yeah, I'll do some dynamic stretching, especially before a run. Um, I don't do any stretching to like recover. Basically, I'll just do foam rolling, and like I've got the Hyper Volts
Oh yeah, the
massage gun.
massage gun, yeah.
Yeah,
How are
massage
I
gun.
was thinking about getting one because I tried them after the New York Marathon last year, and I was impressed. It's so nice.
Yeah, those are great things to have. I wish I had some of the Norditek like massage boots. Those things that you slip over your leg and they pump full of air and
Oh
they like
yeah.
massage you with.
Oh my God, they're oh Jesus. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, those feel amazing. But yeah, just like taking care of stuff like that makes a huge difference. Just doing like a little bit every other day can really you'll definitely feel the difference.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so now is the time we have to talk about your Cowboys. I'm not even sure if I can pronounce the name properly. Coconino, is that right?
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Who's involved and how did you find each other?
So it started out with me, Tim Frericks, and Jim Walmsley, and I told you how Jim got us into trail running, but Tim and Jim knew each other from high school. They both ran in Arizona in high school. They competed against each other. Uh, Tim and I both went to NAU and ran for NAU, the university. And so we all knew each other through that. Um, and then as time went on, like, and we got to know more people, and um, we wanted to expand, I guess. Um, we met, or I met Jared and Eric, um, and then they both ended up moving to Flagstaff, and we would train together. And then Stephen Kirsch joined, and he is another college runner. And other local guys like Tommy Rivers, who's just an amazing all-around athlete, but also really good at trail running and ultra running. He's a member. Um,
And he's your personal, or he, yeah, was your personal massage person, or I just
yeah.
saw a video where
So
he was massaging all of
there
you.
was there
Whoa.
was one winter where we were taking our recovery very seriously, and so he would, come over to one of our houses, uh, and everyone else would come over to the house, and he'd lay out his massage table, and we'd all take turns, like 30 to 45 minutes getting massages from him. But he's like, he really gets in there right away. It was painful.
I can imagine it.
He's not my favorite.
I can't, I mean, you're so many people. How can he move his fingers for so long?
I don't know how they do it. Like there's quite a few massage therapists in Flagstaff, and people that I've seen, and they have like just people scheduled all day for massages, and that has to be so difficult. It's definitely something that you have to train for. Just
Yeah.
doing massages all day.
So cool. I saw that you had a group project where you all tried to get a golden ticket for Western States. How did
Yep,
that go? I know that one guy didn't get the ticket in the first race, but had to go to another race to get the ticket.
yep, yep. So it was one year at Western States. It was the year that we were all there, and Jim was racing, and we were helping crew him and pace him, and he ended up dropping out. And we all decided that we should all do it the next year. And so this was at the end of June. And the next golden ticket race was in January, and so I ran that race. I got my golden ticket, and then the next couple races, or the next few months, the other guys, they all got their golden tickets as well, and like we tried to have this story to show for social media. All of us like just basically working together to be able to run together at Western States.
And how did it go?
None of us had any doubt that we would be able to get golden tickets. But Eric Sensman didn't get it in his first race, and then just got the last spot at the last race. So we were
Oh
all
God.
super excited. Yeah,
Whoa, that's
we
crazy.
were all super excited when he got that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was in this one video where he was super, super happy and he jumped on everyone and it was just, I don't know, it was so nice to see that. I mean, he was so happy. I haven't seen such a happy person for so long.
Yeah, when you have it was a big goal, um, you know, to be able to have like all of us get a golden tickets. Um, the odds I guess were not in our favor, you could say, but we were confident, and then just actually like doing it and executing the plan, just as we had, or almost just as we had planned. It was really exciting.
Nice. And did you run the Western States all together after all?
Yeah, we were all there. One of us had an injury, so Jared wasn't able to run. He had like fractured his sacrum, I think, or he had some
Ooh.
hip issues. Yeah. But he was there, and the rest of us ran it. And I just remember at the start, you're in Squaw Valley, and you go up like 2 or 3 thousand foot like service road to the top of the ski resort, the mountain, and before you start descending. Uh, and everyone basically walks it. And so we were all like walking together, talking. Like it was such a good time, and just a great experience that I want to do again with them. I want to do it at UTMB with everyone. Have like another cowboy jamboree at UTMB next year, hopefully.
Oh, that sounds lovely. But did you all make it to the end, or did someone drop out of the race?
We all finished. Um, Eventually, some of us didn't have too good of a day, but it was my first 100 mile, and I was happy with my performance, and I got seventh place, and yeah, it was. I knew if I had just ran conservatively, had energy to finish the last 30, 40 miles, and to like really push myself after that 100K mark, um, then I would at least finish, and I knew I would finish well if I did that. And so that's what I did. And now that I've done 100 miles, and I know how to train for a race like that, um, I'll be a little less conservative in the beginning. I don't know, maybe use more caffeine.
So you're gonna go for UTMB and gonna show your skills.
Yeah. I mean, eventually, I want it to be next year, the UTMB, but it's who knows what will happen.
Yeah.
Um, I'm optimistic about doing some domestic races next year around the U.S. Um, yeah, that's
What's the plan for your race calendar for next year?
no plan yet. It's just too far out, and um, can't know what's going to happen. So I'm just um, I'm just
Going
running
with the flow.
now. This winter, uh, have some fun in the snow, do some skiing, and stay fit. Maybe build fitness. I don't know. And then we'll see where we're at next spring, basically.
Yeah, fingers crossed that at least something will happen. I was actually really sad because I was supposed to run a trail run in October, and I was doing the same one in a different state of Germany. And like a couple of days before they canceled it, and I can't really understand why they did that because I was so happy that there was at least one race, and then they canceled the last race on my calendar. I was like, oh well, oh
Yeah,
well.
yeah. There's been quite a few last minute cancellations, uh, even for races that I've run. or was planning on running. So that's why I just, um, just waiting to see what there will be, and waiting to like feel more comfortable about racing and being out there with all the other people, aid stations.
Yeah, nice. I'm actually curious, did you ever participate in a major marathon?
I've never run a marathon. My my marathon PR that I claim is from a 50K trail race that I've run.
Oh, that's so interesting. Wow.
Yeah, but maybe it'll happen in the next few years. Who knows? I haven't I haven't been motivated enough or interested enough to like really dive into the marathon.
Yeah, I get that. I moved to like closer to the city in Berlin just a couple of months ago, and before that I was living close to a forest, and now I'm just like, well, I actually really miss my forest. I don't really know what I did. I always have to go super far to find a forest now, and we don't really have mountains here. There's just one mountain and everyone is going there, so it's super hard to train properly. So most of the time we're just like traveling around like in other states around Berlin because it's just made for road runners.
Oh, okay. I
Okay,
think
yeah,
yeah.
sorry.
Oh, never mind.
No, okay. I wanted to dive into your diet because I saw another video earlier, and I heard that you're really into food, and I also know that you traveled quite a lot. So I'm actually curious, which country was, or where did you find the best food in the world, and what is your favorite restaurant in the world?
Oh, yes. These are the questions that I love. All right. So, best food in the world. It's world famous for being the best food in the world, like Italy. It doesn't.
Ah.
I don't think it's better than that. It's so incredibly fresh. The quality of the ingredients are the highest they could be. Uh, the food, like you can just eat so much of it and still feel good. Like uh, if you binge eat something, or if I binge eat something, like at a restaurant here in the U.S., unless it's like an extremely nice restaurant, um, you might feel like a little sick afterwards just because you're so full. But I never felt that there, and I was eating a lot. And I had just raced something, and was enjoying food there. But yeah, Italy's food is amazing, and France as well. But when I was in the Alps there, in like for when I ran CCC, uh, got to eat over on the Italy side and the Swiss side and the French side. Um, I think my favorite food out of all that were the macaroons in France.
Really?
Oh my gosh, yeah,
Which
yeah, those are
flavor
the
is your
best.
favorite one?
Just all of them.
Oh.
Not picky. The macaroons are amazing, and there's nothing like that we can get here in the U.S. Unfortunately, that at least that I've found, and I've been looking. There's been some decent ones, but there's nothing like the French macaroons.
Did you get
Uh,
some macarons on the CCC? On the aid station
During
somewhere?
the race,
Yeah.
no, no. But I was eating cheese and chocolate, so I hurt my ankle during the
Almost
race.
almost the same.
Yeah, yeah. So I hurt my ankle, and I was enjoying the aid stations. I was blown away by them, like these massive tents full of all food. Like, yeah, so
Everything
different.
I can imagine.
Yeah, that was
Okay.
great.
Okay.
But
Italy.
in
Pizza
Italy, yeah,
or pasta?
pizza or pasta, did you say?
What would you choose? Pizza or pasta?
Oh, probably. God, how can you choose between pizza or pasta, especially in Italy? I don't even know. Like pizza maybe, but the pasta, like
So you would go for the pizza with the pasta on top.
I could totally do that. Yeah. Or I would get both. I'd get like a margarita pizza with like a pasta on the side, just basic stuff. But it's so good there. Like that's all you need, and you can taste all the flavors. It's good stuff.
Well, too bad that you're in America.
I know. But I enjoy cooking all the time. Like I like food. I like cooking. Watch a lot of cooking stuff.
The Netflix show. I heard that you watched all of the.
Chef's Table. Chef's Table is incredible, and it's my goal to go to some of those restaurants whenever I'm traveling.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, like yeah, yeah. I was talking to someone actually who went to one of the restaurants in the show, the one in Sweden. I think it's in the first season. Uh, so he ran Ultravassen. Yeah, he ran Ultravassen and went to the Chef's Table restaurant in Sweden, and he said it was unbelievable. Obviously, I mean, they all look amazing.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. So how does your diet look like when you're home and not traveling?
When I'm home, it's I like to call it the whole foods diet. You know, just a lot of variety. Don't really don't really make myself not eat anything that I want. It's a lot of vegetables, a little bit of meat, um, snacks. You know, I junk food stuff still. Enjoy my Pop Tarts, but you know, lots of eggs as well and milk. Um, and yeah, like that's lots of organic ingredients. Um, Here in Mammoth, it's kind of difficult because there's not much like this around here, but like local ingredients, try to get local ingredients. In Flagstaff, it was easier. There, I was able to get uh, buy a cow or part of a cow from a farm in northern Arizona that was raised. Like this was a happy cow for sure. they uh, they sold like a half a cow, which we shared with our neighbors. And so we had a quarter of a whole cow, like all different cuts. And whenever needed some meat, we just like pull a few pieces out of the freezer and cook those up. And the flavor was amazing, but you could you could feel good about the you know where the meat came from, and it's in like environmental impact basically.
Hmm. Yeah, and when you go on your trail runs, what do you take with you
Uh,
on like the longer
so
runs?
yeah, on the longer runs, like really long stuff, like when I did a rim to rim run, I took a lot of snacks, not just running food. I took some Pop Tarts. Um, I had like a bean and cheese and rice burrito. But 99% of the food that I eat while running, even while I'm racing, the really long races, um, I'll use spring energy gels. Do you have that there?
I'm not sure if we have it, but I know that there are many runners out there who are actually sponsored by them. So I'm gonna because I'm a nutritionist and I don't really eat that. I always like take dates and all that stuff, but I'm gonna try them because it actually sounds really natural and I want to give it a try. So I had Lucy Bartholomew on the show a couple of weeks ago, and I think she's sponsored by them as well. And now you're telling me about them, and I know that Beth is sponsored by them as well. So I'm just like, Well, I should try them.
Yeah, it's good stuff. And I I when you're racing or when you're running really far, you don't really, I don't know. At least to me, it's the ingredients aren't important or as important. What I look for mainly is flavor and consistency and whether it works or not. Um, because that's all I care about when I'm running. Like if it works and if I'm able to stomach it, it's not going to make me throw up. Um, and I could not do that with a lot of the normal gels that are on the market. Like they're very sweet and syrupy, and um, yeah, I couldn't do it. They didn't really work for me, and so I was so happy to find this brand, and all of the ingredients are like real ingredients, just rice basically with some fruit and nuts and oils thrown in there. Uh, so it's really good energy. It tastes good. It feels good, and it works. Most importantly,
Yeah.
for me.
Nice. I'm happy to hear that. um, I also have to come back to the UTCT again because I had some questions, I forgot about them. Um, I'm actually wondering how come that you decided to run the race? Was it always on your calendar that you wanted to do it at some point, or how come?
Uh, it was always in the back of my mind once I saw that it was a new Ultra Trail World Tour race, because I think it's only been a Ultra Trail World Tour race for the last few years, and it was somewhere that I wanted to go in general. And so last summer, I was training for the Leadville 100 miler, and I hurt myself just a few weeks before it,
Oh no.
and wasn't able to race it. And so I was looking a few months ahead to see what I could possibly do when I healed and got some more training in, and that lined up perfectly. And so you know between scheduling and wanting to go there anyway, like that seemed like a pretty good choice. Also, there it's a big race, it's Ultra Trail World Tour race, and had really good competition. And so that's another thing that I look for.
Nice. And what was your favorite part of the race?
Oh, favorite part. Like favorite part, maybe hiking up Table Mountain. Going up that was pretty cool. But and it's fairly early on in the race, so I was still feeling well. So good memories from there. But I mean, like the most intense memory I have from the race, probably running with Francois
Was
for a
that the
bit.
French guy who was leading most of the time?
No, so I forget who it was, but there was a guy who led for like most of the race, like almost until like what, 80K probably in
I
the
thought
lead.
he was French, wasn't he?
He was another French guy.
Ah, okay, okay.
Um,
He was in
maybe
his was
Nico.
he from Hooker?
Yeah, and a Hoka runner.
Yeah.
So he was in the lead, and then it was Francois, and then me for probably most of the race. Uh, and then I was running with Francois for a bit and passed him, and I knew I was in second place still, and I was on the hunt for this guy. And towards the end of the race, especially when you start running past the 65K runners, you end up on the same trail. Um, like I was in a lot of pain, I was looking out for him and pushing. And I come into like the last aid station, and they tell me that I'm in the lead, and I had apparently passed him somewhere back uh, in that section where all the people were. So now I went from like chase mode to like race mode, like holding these people off. And as you come across Table Mountain in the last few miles, like before you descend to the very finish, um, it's very exposed, and you can see miles ahead on the trail. And I was in this neon yellow top, and I was like, oh man, I wish like I wasn't so bright. Like anyone behind me would be able to see me and know like how far behind me they were. Um, yeah, but it worked out.
Even with your choice of clothes this day.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Um, is there one situation where you would say this was the hardest part in the race, or was it all hard in the end when you were trying to chase him?
Yeah, the hardest part was probably I can visualize it. I forget where it was, but towards the end of the race, the temperature was climbing. Um, like I'm feeling super tired and sore. Uh, Actually, it was probably right around where I passed the leader. Um, my legs were cramping up, and this is in like probably the last 10 miles of the race. My legs were cramping up, like I needed more salt, maybe. Um, but I was like hitting my legs, like punching them, like punching out the cramps. And I was listening to music at the same time and like yelling and grunting, and I'm passing all of these people in the 65K. They probably thought I was insane, but I didn't care. I was just focusing on finishing.
Well, they might knew that you were quite fast when you passed them and you did the 100K.
Yeah, I don't know. They probably just saw me coming, like not knowing I was in the 100K maybe, and just like, oh my gosh, what is he doing?
Well, but you won, and I mean it's quite impressive. I mean, what was your time? 10 hours and something, or?
It was 10:0 something, yeah, 10:02 maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, that's so fast. I mean, nice work.
Thank you. So the what well, the reason why I like the course so much, I think, is because it has some major climbs in it. You go up Table Mountain, down the other side, and you go up um, like Suter Peak, I think it was called, and then there's one last climb on like the other side of Table Mountain. And you go up halfway, but in between all those sections, it's like extremely runnable, and so uh, or more, it's more like what I was used to, or what I've trained most of my life, and so I like runnable races or runnable sections, um, and it had a lot of that, and it's really benefited me. I think.
Yeah, nice. I was thinking about if I know someone else, and I actually know two other people who did the 100K. Do you know Gabriel from the Midnight Runners?
Yeah, how did you know Gabe?
I'm running with the
Gabe and I
Midnight
hung out
Runners.
for quite a bit.
He was the crew captain of my running crew here in Berlin, and that's the reason why I know him. And I think
Yeah,
they
it's
released
all.
their movie just a couple of days ago. Did you see
Did
that?
he? No, I have to check it out.
Yeah, they were running in Tajikistan or somewhere.
Oh, he has a movie about that. He was
Yeah, yeah,
telling
yeah.
me his story from there the whole time. It sounded pretty amazing.
Yeah, I was texting him after the race and I was like, "How did it go?" And he was like, "Oh, I'm so dead. I'm never gonna do it again."
Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
Gabe and I and another guy that I met down there, Matt, who was like the athlete manager for the race. He like took care of us. Um, we got out for some hikes afterward on Table Mountain.
oh, nice.
Show
Yeah.
us. He showed us like the locals' way up the
Oh,
mountain.
nice. That's
Yeah,
perfect.
yeah,
Okay, and the second runner that I know is a guy from Sweden. His name is Linus.
yeah. I met Linus for the
Did
first time
you?
in Cape Town, but I've met I've met his friends a lot. Like they've come to the U.S. Elov Olsen and Johan and Yuki and yeah, Linus. They all had a pretty rough time at the race. They all got sick beforehand.
Oh no. Shit.
Yeah, so that's why they either DNS or DNF.
Wow. Yeah, I was studying in Sweden last year for one semester, and I was in Borås. That's the city where Linus is from, and I met his best friend. I think I don't know, over on Tinder or something. And then I went to a race. They have like this race in the local. It's not really a mountain, but like the hill thing.
Right, right, right.
Yeah, and Linus is the organizer of the race, and so everything came together. And a couple of days after this race, he went to Cape Town and I was just super amazed by
Was
what he did.
that race the that he did just before the 100K?
Oh no, it was. I think I don't really know when it was, but it's not like a real race. It's just like 13 kilometers. It's not that far.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Linus, and all the Swedish guys, like, I mean, they don't have many mountains there in Sweden, but they're really fast on the flatter trails for sure.
Yeah, I heard that he has the national record for I think the 6 hour run.
That sounds familiar. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I heard that, but I'm not 100% sure. I haven't spoken to them for such a long time. Um, Yeah, cool. That's so funny. I also wanted to talk with you about your coaching. When did you start coaching, and how come that you decided to start coaching?
So when I started, I've run for a long time throughout school and university, um, and I've always wanted to be better, to be a better runner, and I've like studied training techniques and looked for what could give me an edge in training, um, and all that kind of stuff, and studied training techniques and things like that, and just been a student of the sport, I guess some people say. Um, and so that is where I got my coaching knowledge from. And then just being like such a fan of the sport of running and like wanting to get others interested in the sport and uh, inspired basically led me to coach. So I was working locally in Flagstaff doing some retail jobs while I was doing some races, and then after a while of that, I started coaching, and then that's when I became a full time runner, basically just running and coaching exclusively, um, and it's been working out pretty great so far. I love my athletes. I don't have that many of them, which I don't want a lot. Like some people, some coaches here, that I know have like dozens and dozens of athletes, and I like having a more personal relationship with them, and I just think that it helps. You know, it all goes back to the sport,
I'm
and it's
always
something that I'm passionate about.
Yeah, I'm always wondering when people say I'm coaching all over the world, but I'm located in America. How do you coach when someone is not nearby? I mean, when I think of a coach, I think of someone who's standing next to me and telling me what to do, and not
Yeah.
someone who's on the other side of the world.
Well, I mean, everything's online these days, and so you can communicate with anyone anywhere, and that has allowed me to do this basically. And so uh, just communicate over text usually, or we call. I've done Zoom calls with people, um, and I try to make my descriptions of what I'm looking for uh, specific enough so that it can help the athletes know what to do. But definitely being in person, it doesn't replace an in-person encounter. Um, and I wish that it's difficult because Mammoth, where I am now, is very small. Only a few thousand people here live here full time, but the mountain access is it. I don't know how it could be better. It's amazing, but if I were in a city maybe, or somewhere with a lot more people, then I would be able to meet up with people one on one, and I wish I could do that, and just uh, train more of like the psychological or the mental side of running, like while we're out in the mountains, show people the way I do things, and why I do them a certain way. You know,
Yeah,
that's
yeah, I get you.
hopefully that can happen sometime. I'm thinking it would be exciting to do some sort of a camp, um, or more just
Come
like
to Italy.
yes, that would be quite the location. But doing like a camp setup where just few people are invited. We go out for runs and we do workouts. Like just show people how to do these things. Like how do you do a track workout? I'm uh, I've been trained my whole life basically. I've been coached. I know how to do these things, but I'm finding that if you didn't have the running background like in high school or college, then you wouldn't know. Uh, and so just it would be exciting and fun to have that in person coaching experience.
Yeah, nice. Okay, I always have like three questions in the end that I ask everyone. But before that, where can people find you? Do you have your own website? What's your Instagram tag?
So I just launched a website a few months ago. You can go to codyruns.com and check out stuff like I had a schedule on there originally, but everything got canceled. So
Oh,
I know. You can find my sponsors, uh, links to their websites, and I have a list of like what items I actually use. So not just an endorsement of my sponsor, like a blind endorsement of my sponsors, but it's the stuff that I choose to use, basically.
Yeah, I was surprised to see the run pack from Salomon.
Yeah, well, I don't have a pack sponsor yet, so just trying out what's out there, and that's been good so far.
Yeah.
Um, Also, the Solomon filter bottles. I love the filter bottles. Like there's the Catadine has a soft filter bottle, and Solomon does as well, and they're the same. They're similar, so you can use swap out the filters
Yeah.
easily. Um, because in the mountains here, like there's so much water, so many streams and lakes. You take a filter bottle out there, and it's super easy to just fill up water anywhere. Like you'll never run out of water.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah,
I haven't used the filter yet, but it always looks so interesting because you don't really need to think about the water because you always have a filter with you and you can just go everywhere.
yeah, yeah. It's a great addition. So that's my website. Um, my I'm on social media on Instagram mostly. You follow my Instagram at Cody Reed with 4 E's, and that's basically all I really use.
And did you Google yourself at some point?
I
Because
have,
there's a baseball
unfortunately,
player.
I know there's a baseball player. I forget what team he's on, but his name is Cody Reed. Same spelling and everything, and he's in the major leagues. So I'm gonna have to have some big wins if I want to beat him on the Google search.
Yeah, yeah, but you will get there, I'm sure.
I hope so. That's my goal. That's my goal.
Okay, so first questions of the end of the podcast questions. I'm not sure if you like books, but do you have a book that inspired you?
In running specifically,
It doesn't matter, just a book that inspired you in your life, in your thinking.
um,
It can also be a running book. It's okay.
yeah, I've read some good books. The problem is I always forget the names. I mean, right now I'm reading Dune, or trying to. It's difficult sometimes, but my favorite genre of books is like uh, futuristic, usually the dystopian society type books like 1984 and Brave New World, um, Fahrenheit 451. But yeah, I mean, an inspirational book I read, probably Once a Runner, just for running specifically. Um, there was this guy on my college cross country team, upperclassman, and he always like had these strange little sayings that he would say all the time, and I was like where is this from? Like, why are you saying these things? So weird. And then I read Once a Runner, and it all made sense. He was quoting the book like 24/7, just reference after reference. And I was laughing so much reading this book because I had heard all of these quotes before from him. Um, but that book, it's inspiring because it really goes into the the thickness of it, like of training, like you just um, the solo aspect of it, the consistency, and just there's really no secret. There's no little trick or little secret to running. Like the secret is like just consistency, pushing yourself, and like trying to like to change, like trying to build your body in a way.
Yeah, I
So
have it on my book list as well. I might
nice.
read it next year, but I got one today. Do you know this one?
Yes, yes. When he came out with that book, he was on all the podcasts and
We should
listened to
say
a bunch.
that it's David Goggins Can't Hurt Me because
Oh
the
yeah,
people can't see it, but yeah.
yeah, yeah. So when David Goggins came out with that book, he did all of the podcasts, and I listened to a bunch of them. And, I remember it was during the winter, and I was running on Lake Mary Road in Flagstaff, and it was snowing. I think I had my snow goggles on, like ski goggles on, and just listening to him. And he was talking. It was very cold, and I was not excited to be out there. But then he's telling this story about training camp, and he's like swimming in the ocean, and he like breaks his leg or something crazy, and he's just like keeps going, and he's doing all this stuff, and I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, like this this run isn't anything. Like I'm gonna go another mile. I'm gonna go another mile. I just kept going until like I did feel better, and then turned around and came back. But yeah, uh, it was that type of mentality that you know you don't know until you know.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm a big proponent of training to failure. I call it sometimes. Like I got it from rock climbing in college. Like when you're lead climbing, uh, like you need to push through the hard sections of crux sections of these routes sometimes, and you need to like just totally trust yourself and trust your gear mostly. It's not up to you, but you just trust your gear to catch you when you fall, and it's a normal part of climbing. And so, if you commit 100% because you're not scared of falling, then you might make it through that crux section without falling. Whereas before, if you were trying not to fall, or if you were a little apprehensive about it, you wouldn't have been able to make it through that. Um, and then if you do fall, then you can be happy knowing that like that you are trying your hardest and you're climbing to failure.
Yeah. Nice, yeah. I'm super excited to read the book. I already heard a couple of podcasts as well. That's the reason why I decided I need to read the whole book. Um, second question for you. What excites you after waking up?
um, Lately, it's been the small things, really, like just waking up and making egg tacos and making coffee on the French press. Um, it's a nice little morning routine to get you going uh, for the day, before I like start talking with my athletes or go out for a run. But this summer was pretty great. I was in a van with my girlfriend in Colorado, and we were uh, we were in Silverton in the San Juan Mountains, and like waking up then was a great experience. Like wake up, you open the van door, and there's like 14,000-foot mountains right there, and you can just like look around and point to like whatever you're gonna run that day. Like I'm gonna go up that one. I'm gonna go across that ridge. Like I'm gonna go to that lake, and then put some coffee on the stove and sit out in the sun. Yeah,
Sounds nice.
very nice.
It's so funny everyone is saying coffee. I didn't expect it when I was planning my questions, but I had more than 50% who said coffee.
What does that say about us? We need our caffeine fix in the morning.
Seems like that. I don't know.
Everyone's addicted.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't drink coffee. That's the reason why I was so surprised, because I don't drink it, so I didn't think about it.
Dang. Like ever? You don't like the flavor?
I don't like it. I'm more have you ever tried matcha? Matcha latte?
Yeah, it tastes like dirt. Not a fan of matcha.
No, I heard that before. It's funny that you say that, but I love it. I love matcha and I also love hot chocolate.
Oh, well, who doesn't love hot chocolate?
Yeah.
Hot chocolate with some shots of espresso in it. Yeah,
No
there you
coffee.
go.
No coffee. But have you ever tried hot chocolate with CBD oil? It's super good
I'm
for
not
your
a fan of
recovery.
the CBD. I think it's a fad. I think it doesn't do anything or do much. Um, and yeah, I don't use CBD.
That's all right. You have your coffee.
Yeah, I've got the coffee.
All right. Okay. Last question for today. One thing that everyone should know,
About me.
just in general.
Everyone should know. Oh gosh, there's a lot of people that should know a lot more than they do right now. That's for sure. It seems like everything that is happening is just it's like every bad thing that happens is so born out of ignorance, really. Um, but something that everyone should know is that it's you don't have it. How do I say this? You can you maybe this isn't something I should know, but anger doesn't need to be the default attitude. How about that?
There is no right or wrong.
Right.
Thank
Well, anger doesn't have to be your default attitude. Although I'm sure the people listening to this already know that, since they're probably mostly runners. We're a pretty friendly bunch.
That's true. That's true. Thank you. Thank you so much for your time. I really, really appreciate it. And yeah, I might reach out to you before hopefully the next UTCT.
Yes, great talking to you. Definitely hit me up before the next race, whatever that is for you.
Yes, I hope that you can race again and yeah, stay healthy, stay strong, and keep doing what you do.
Thank you. You too. Great talking to you.
Thank you so much for tuning in with me today. Make sure to let me know how this episode resonated with you by tagging me under @ElisaLicious over on Instagram. That's where you can also send me a DM if you have any questions or suggestions. If you want to know more, make sure to head over to elisalicious.de where you can find the show notes for each episode. And please make sure to pop over to iTunes and leave me a rating and review. And hey, if you like what you hear, check out my Patreon page where you can support my work. I appreciate that so much. Big thank you to Tanja Notschaele for graphics and music by Temple Hayes. Have a wonderful rest of the day and I'll see you next week.